£35 from you, that's 70, plus 50 from you, and Hamish makes 70 and 50, which is
120.
Thank you. Good. Well, I'd like to congratulate you all on paying your rent on time. It was a very wise decision, and I trust you make a similar wise decision this time next week.
It's our pleasure, Mrs. Haddon.
Speak for yourself, Henry.
You're some kind of masochist.
Sorry, did I hear mumbling?
Mumbling?
Mumbling, yes. Did I detect a little grumbling among the mumbling? Or was it merely the sound of stones having blood squeezed out of them?
All we were doing was quietly celebrating the fact that we've just made you a wealthy woman.
Carol, £120 does not make me wealthy.
Makes you £120 wealthier than me.
Like all the money that comes into my hands, this is merely passing through.
Well, I just hope it's going to a good cause.
Oh, it couldn't be going to a better one. It's going to my bank manager.
Guess what? Electricity bill.
Ah, I'll peruse it at leisure in a month or two.
Some people, of course, don't pay rent, do they?
Well, it's one of the perks of being her daughter.
Yes, you won't forget the other perk, will you, Monica?
Oh, no.
Good news.
It's from the magistrate's court.
What does it say?
Wish you were here.
They've fined me 200 quid. 200 quid! Just because they never received my road tax.
Did you send it?
That's not the point. I'm ashamed to live in a country that picks on people just because they've got a bad memory.
Oh, it's from the finance company that paid for Chris's mobile disco equipment. They're threatening to repossess it.
Well, that's not going to be easy. Thanks to the Kilburn Hells Angels, it's in about 4,000 different pieces.
You know, it's a pity you didn't ask for the names and addresses of those Hells Angels.
I think at the time he was a little more concerned with not having his skin pulled off.
So, who'd like to buy my van?
Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Bloody terrible. I've got toothache.
Oh, well, come in. I'll cheer you up. As guarantor of my bank loan, you'll be delighted to know I'm going to pay in the first instalment this morning.
But I expected nothing less. I trust you've typed out my chapter 1?
Yes. But I got something to say about your word processor.
What's that?
Here you are, chapter 1. Ready for you to take to your publisher, and there's your word processor ready for you to stick
You
right...
mustn't be frightened of this new technology, Sheila. You've got to make it understand that you're the boss.
Well, I've tried, but it won't believe me.
Oh, for heaven's sake, woman, it comes with instructions.
You need instructions to read the instructions, and don't call me woman.
The salesman assured me a monkey could operate this machine.
Would a banana help?
Let's go through it step by step, shall we? First, select your workstation. In other words, is this the best position for the word processor?
No.
Then where is the best position for
I've
it?
narrowed it down to the dustbin.
Oh, press on. Now, this is the multifunctional keyboard.
Thanks, we've already met.
This operates the cursor, which can also be controlled by a mouse.
So just to recap, what we need to operate this machine is a monkey, a mouse...
My patience is wearing paper thin, Sheila. Paper thin!
Richard, I do roughly know how to work this heap of junk.
Heap of junk?
I just don't like it, that's all. And it gives me eye ache. I've spent most of today trying to get my head out of a bottle of Uptrex.
Chapter 2, Sheila. I'd like it programmed at your earliest convenience.
But I
Just
am not...
get on with the job I pay you to do and stop behaving like an hysterical Luddite.
Your neck could be next.
I shall give you 5 seconds to see sense, Sheila. I'm expecting a total U-turn and a handsome apology.
Well, if that's what you're expecting, you're an even bigger wally than your word processor.
How dare you call my word processor a wally? The merest sliver of one of its microchips contains a damn sight more brain power than you can muster.
Right! Do you want to discuss this rationally?
Yes, I do.
Right. On your bike and pedal off!
Right. You're fired.
I resign.
I said it first.
No, you didn't. We said it at the same time.
I suggest that you visit a specialist, Sheila. Try to explain to him that you're feeling like a pig-headed ostrich. And ask him if it's irreversible. Right.
about that.
You know what I think?
What?
I think one of you should buy my van. Well, somebody say something.
What can we say, Chris? It's so hard to put apathy into words.
Come on, Hamish. It goes without saying you'll be investing in the future.
The future of whom? The AA?
Look, your ultimate ambition is to open a Scottish restaurant, right?
Aye.
Well, no one ever ran a successful restaurant without a van. It just can't be done. A van's essential to get in supplies.
He's got a point. You can't hump tons of haggis round on a push bike.
When I do open my restaurant, and I will, it's going to be a very upmarket establishment. Any metal fatigue in the vicinity would only lower the tone.
I like your van, Chris.
That's because you've got impeccable taste.
This is true.
So, we have a deal.
We have a deal. Oh, just 2 points. I can't drive and I'm totally broke.
The last thing I need at a time like this is to waste my sales pitch on a pauper. Right. Well, Henry, looks like it's your lucky day.
Wednesday's never my lucky day, Chris. We do bacteriology on Wednesdays.
Nice.
Oh, yes. It's lovely. Last week it involved a prolonged analysis of a contaminated pork pie.
Sounds fun.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Really quite terrifically amusing, actually. One big laugh. Ha! There can be few joys in life to compare with the pleasures of burying one's nose in salmonella poisoning.
Sounds like you need cheering up, Henry. What you need's a nice van.
No, thanks.
It'd be the best investment you ever made. You'll be the richest medical student in town.
By buying your van?
By converting it into a private ambulance.
Ambulance?
You'd be coining it. All that van needs is a mattress and a second-hand stretcher and you're in business. It's a brilliant idea.
You really think so?
Yeah. I think I'll donate my brain to science when I die.
Yes, well, you might as well. After all, it won't take up much space.
Better.
Not in a minute, it won't do. Look, I know this is a bad time, Mum, but I really do think that you should open this electricity bill. You see, this envelope's got this little window in it, and I looked through that window, and I saw red.
Oh, God. It's a final demand. £118.50. If we don't pay it within a week, they'll cut us off.
When was that posted?
A week ago. This could be a good time for us to join the Foreign Legion.
Oh, I'm sure your bank manager would understand if you gave the money to the electricity board instead of him.
So innocent, so trusting, so naive, so thick.
Come on, Monica, we're going to be late.
Just remember, Elvis Presley's first set of wheels went for a fortune.
So?
So when I'm famous, that van will be a collector's piece.
Possibly. It's already a museum piece. I think your best bet is to find a short-sighted scrap merchant.
Have fun with your bank manager, Mum.
Thanks, Mon. Now, have I got everything I need? Wallet, house keys, bread knife?
See, if I had 800 quid, I could clear all my debts and still have change for a packet of polos.
Have you ever thought of selling your van?
Will that be cash, Mrs. Haddon?
It's about my weekly loan repayment.
Yes, Mrs. Haddon, the manager said you'd be in. £120, wasn't it?
Indeed it was, yes, but alas, it no longer is. However, I would like to deposit this as a gesture of good faith, and please reassure Mr. Warren that I will have the balance in a jiff.
Mrs. Haddon, our instructions were to alert Mr. Warren immediately if there was any shortfall.
Oh, no, I shouldn't bother about that.
So if you could hang on for a moment, I'll just, well, alert him.
This is not quite the £120 we agreed, is it, Mrs. Haddon?
Not quite, no.
Not even nearly?
No.
Oh, indeed, remotely?
No.
In fact, it'd be no exaggeration to say that this is only £1.50.
Yes, it is. But if it's any consolation to you, Mr. Warren, I'd just like to say that this is as big a disappointment to me as it is to you.
You've always had a rather cavalier attitude to the bank's money, Mrs. Haddon, but I think you'll agree this is fairly remarkable even by your standards.
What was I to do, Mr. Warren? It was either you or the electricity board.
And what have they got that I haven't got? Apart from my £118.50.
They're a ruthless bunch, Mr. Warren. They'd have cut me off without a kilowatt.
What?
Exactly. No, it's hell being dependent on electricity. In fact, you know, when all this has blown over, I would like to discuss the possibility of the banks extending my overdraft so that I can invest in solar power. It's a joke, Mr. Warren, you know, joke.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. But I think on balance I'll laugh. Because our unhappy association is about to end.
Pardon?
You've left me no choice but to call upon your guarantor to honour your debt.
My guarantor?
Commander Richard Beamish, I believe.
Not while I have breath in my body. I still have half a day left, Mr. Warren. I told your cashier I'd have that balance in a jiff, and have it in a jiff. I will have it.
We close at 3:30, Mrs. Haddon.
Now, Mr. Warren, he's a right little banker, isn't he? Chris, I've got a job for you and your van.
Great.
Follow me.
Hold on, we haven't negotiated terms.
Overpay is nothing but the alternative's eviction. Sound fair? One jardiniere, our mission to get it to the nearest antique shop, all in one piece.
You're never selling this.
Hamish, I need to buy a bit of breathing space. I've lost my job with Richard. My bank manager's showing the whites of his eyes and frothing, and I've got nothing in my fridge. If I don't do something soon, I'll be reduced to raiding allotments.
But this is Art Nouveau Vulcan. Could you not sell something else?
Well, it's the only thing I've got of any real value. And I don't just mean money.
How do you mean?
Well, when Ben and I first married, he went out to buy me a washing machine, and he came back with that. It's very beautiful, but it's hopeless with the non-fast colours.
We're talking sentimental value here, right?
Yes. Every time I look at that jardiniere, it reminds me of the first really blazing row we ever had.
But surely even your bank manager wouldn't want you to part with this.
Listen, if it meant money, my bank manager would like me to part with my leg.
Could you not give him a ring and at least broach the subject?
But you don't know the man. He's got... What did you say?
Give him a ring.
No, after that.
Broach the subject.
Broach the subject. Did you say that? Brilliant, Hamish. Thank you.
Thank you. What for?
Auntie Mary's brooch. I've forgotten all about it, which is not surprising because I've been trying to forget about it for years.
Why?
Well, because it's indescribably naff. Also, very valuable, but mostly naff. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. I know exactly why I didn't think of it before. Because I promised her on her deathbed that I'd treasure it for the rest of my life. Which means I can only sell the bloody thing when I'm dead.
Afternoon, Hamish.
Hello, Richard. Were you after Mrs. Haddon?
Well, you didn't think these were for you, did you?
She's out, I'm afraid, selling a jardiniere.
Whatever for?
For as much as she can get.
Which way was she headed?
She's with Chris, and she went that away. The antique shop in the High Street.
Right. You stay put. I'll shoot on in and create a demand.
How do you mean, create a demand?
You may not realise how much he wants this.
You're not going to do anything illegal, are you?
Do I look like a criminal?
Yes, you do a bit.
とうとう見つけましたね。こんなすごいアンティークなのもやったらないんですよ。日本に帰ってみんなの喜ぶかみたいですな。Pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Goodbye, old friend. I fear I shall not see your like again. Still, life must go on.
Chin up, old chap, and peep, peep.
Can I be of assistance?
It's a good start. You're the first person I've met today who hasn't pestered me for my autograph.
I'm sorry.
But to business. The name, as you probably know, is Grip Lomax. I can be contacted at the Savoy, but only till the end of the week. Come Saturday, I'll be winging across to LA to start work on a new mini-series with Cheryl Ladd.
How very interesting. Might one inquire as to the relevance of this information?
My mum. She's distraught at losing her boy to Hollywood. Distraught. I want to cheer her up with a really nice farewell prezi. And I can think of nothing nicer than a tasty jardiniere to match the one she's got.
Perhaps you'd like to give me a description.
Well, it's, this sort of shape, sort of dark blue, with sort of light blue twiddly bits, and a sort of frilly top.
Sort of Art Nouveau Vulcan, sort of.
Rings a bell. So keep your eyes peeled, eh? You'll find the Savoy in the yellow pages. Right.
You're a very fortunate man, sir.
Eh?
And your mother is a very fortunate woman. One Art Nouveau Vulcan coming up. So, will it be cash? Check? American Express? Or are you merely engaged in that doomed pursuit of trying to put one over on the antique dealer?
Oh, no. I've only left my wallet out in the roller.
Better luck next time, old friend.
I tried to create a demand. All I created was a giant cock-up.
It doesn't matter about that. I've changed my mind. I'm going to sell the brooch.
But you promised your Auntie Mary.
Yeah, that's okay. She was a lifelong kleptomaniac. I'm going to sell it back to the shop she pinched it from. You like that? Now, 1:45. That gives me an hour and a quarter to sell it and get back to the bank. Step on the mule and back to number 20.
OK, but just remember, you're not the only pauper with a deadline.
Oh, what's your deadline?
To sell this heap before it runs out of petrol.
Oh.
Yes, Mr. Warren?
Have you sight of Mrs. Haddon?
No, sorry.
Don't be sorry. If she's not here within 15 minutes, my troubles are at an end.
Sir, I didn't think you'd still be here.
Why shouldn't I be here?
I thought you had an appointment on the golf course.
Golf course?
Yes, with the chairman of...
The banner chain of supermarkets.
Did you forget, sir? I mean, they are our largest account, aren't they?
I had something else on my mind, Parker. Or rather, someone. And you could take that silly smirk off your face.
Do you want to first start looking?
I'm sorry.
I mean, look at my van! I mean, look at it! Was it his fault or was it his fault?
It was definitely his fault. Lunatic.
This is no time to go to sleep. My van's a write-off.
The insurance will take care of your van.
Will it? Yes. It will, won't it? Well, it won't be cheap. In fact, there won't be any change out of 800 quid.
Mr. Warren?
Mr. Warren. Don't worry about a thing. I've got the money. And the bank doesn't close for another 20 seconds. So, chin up.
Oh, thanks for your help, Chris.
And yours. I'm a handy bloke to have around in a crisis.
Oh, you are.
How did it go?
Oh, like a dream, Hamish. I sold the brooch, and Chris did something I've been longing to do for years. He rammed my bank manager.
And I got paid for it. Pardon?
Listen, put the kettle on and tell him all about it. I want to be alone with my jardiniere. Come on, little monstrosity. I'm going to put you back where I can see you. Oh, come on.
What can I say, Sheila? What can I say? Except I've been to the dentist and I'm a changed man.
And the name was again?
I said some harsh words, Sheila.
Well, so did I. I certainly did as well as you.
The last thing I want is for my blockbuster to come between us.
There's no answer to that.
So, please feel free to continue typing on your trusty portable.
Oh, Richard, that's very generous of you. I know how much your microchips mean to you.
Yes. Well, the fact is, Sheila, that you mean more to me than a floppy disk.
You sure know how to flatter a girl. Come in, I'll make you some tea.
Now, one moment. About your jardiniere.
Yes, what about it?
Tragic business. I know how much it meant to you, and I missed you by seconds at the antique shop. However, in I went, and there it was. The proprietor was most obliging when I told him the circumstances, and I was quietly pleased when I managed to knock 10% off the price.
Well, goodbye, toothache. Hello, double vision. Oh, well, Ben. Life goes on. You know, I could trade you in for a new washing machine. And if nobody up there objected, I could trade you in for a tumble dryer.